Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Toon Duelists. My name is Prototype and today I got a new dinosaur deck profile for you guys. The last dinosaur deck profile on this channel is also a year old or something like that, and there has definitely been some changes to the dinosaurs since then. We had a few ban lists that impacted dinosaurs. We've had some reprints that made some cards more affordable and stuff like that. So that's why it was time to get you guys another dinosaur deck. But that's enough talking, let's dive into it. Okay guys, let's start off with the engine monsters that are starters. So we are playing 3 copy of Oviraptor. This is basically our Stratos of the deck. You normal summon this and you can add yourself a dinosaur to your hand. And then on top of it, you can pop a dinosaur monster on the field and summon back a dinosaur monster from your graveyard. So this is a very important combo starter and combo piece, but we will have another video with the combos, and therefore I'm not going into detail with this. Let's look at what else we have here. We have 3 copies of Baby Pterosaurus. This card's effect is basically when it gets destroyed, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower dinosaur monster from your deck. And then we have 2 copies of Petit Pteranodon, which is basically the same like Baby Pterosaurus, but this one lets you special summon from your deck level 4 or higher. So this is level 4 or lower, this is level 4 or higher. Alright, next up we have our combo pieces. So Miscellaneousaurus is probably the best card in the deck. It's limited to 1, that's why we only play it as a 1-off here. If it was at 2 or 3, this deck would be way stronger, but it is what it is. So basically you can discard this card and then your dinosaur monsters stay unaffected in the main phase 1. So basically after you use this effect, your opponent cannot hand trap you anymore, which is insane. And on top of that, you can banish this card from your graveyard and then summon the, I like to call it, Diamondsaurus from your deck. And when this card is summoned, you can pop a card on your hand or field, which is usually the baby. And then you're able to add double evolution pill, which we will show you later in the spells, to your hand. Then we also have Kaitoptera here. This card is a good card and a good combo piece because when it gets banished, you can summon it again and you will banish it with the double evolution pill that you've been searching with the Diamondsaurus. And on top of that, it lets you add polymerization to your hand when it's summoned. Then we have Xenometeoria here, which is another combo piece. You summon that one out with the Petit Pteranodon that we saw earlier when you pop this one. And then when this card is on the field, you can use its effect to pop another dinosaur you have to summon out the Frostosaurus. But like I said, I'm not getting too deep into the combos because we will have an extra video about that. And then we have 2 copies of the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. This card is summoned out with the double evolution pill or by its own effect, and is basically your boss monster. It's very strong because it can attack every card your opponent controls once. If it's in defense, you can destroy it by its effect and inflict 1000 damage to your opponent. And on top of that, you can destroy a dinosaur monster and flip all your opponent's cards face down. So very strong effect right here. So for the non-engine, we play a hand trap package. 3 copies of Effect Wheeler, 3 copies of Ash Blossom, 3 copies of Nip, and 3 copies of Troll and Lock. And important to mention here is that we prefer Effect Wheeler over Imperm in this build, because with Double Evolution Pill you need to banish a monster from your graveyard that is not a dinosaur. And since you cannot banish Imperm since it's not a monster, but you can banish Effect Wheeler, we much rather play the Effect Wheeler to have something in our graveyard that we can banish off the double evolution pill. So searchers in our deck are Ground Dino and Fossil Dig. Fossil Dig lets you add a level 6 or lower dinosaur from your deck to your hand, so perfect, I mean, it's all you want. And then Ground Dino is even stronger because you can add a dinosaur tuner to your hand and then pop that, or pop another dinosaur in your hand. And so basically this is another combo starter for you, and on top of that you can banish this card from your graveyard and fusion summon. So yeah, really strong and mandatory as a 3-off. To round the 40 card main deck off, we are playing 2 copies of Lost World, which is the field spell in the dinosaur deck, and this one lets you summon a token to your opponent's side of the field when you summon a dinosaur monsters, and then your opponent cannot target anything but the token. So this is kind of a protection, but also when a token or a normal monster would be destroyed, you can destroy a dinosaur from your deck instead. So for example, when the token is destroyed, you could destroy a baby Pterosaurus from your deck and then use the baby's effect to special summon. So this is really strong, that's why we are playing it. And then we have the double evolution pill, which is a combo piece, and like I said, it lets you summon out the ultimate conductor Tyranno, and you have to banish a dinosaur and a non-dinosaur monster from your graveyard. And like I said, the hand traps would be a target for that, but we also have something in our extra deck to make this play work, even if you don't have a hand trap that you used. Then we're playing 1 copy of Poly. I mean, we can add this card for free basically when we use the Kaitoptera, which is a part of the combo, so you always search the Poly into your hand. And then we have 1 Called by the Grave to block hand traps. Now to the extra deck, we're starting with the Xyz monsters here. So we are playing 1 copy of Elvolsa Lagia and 1 copy of Elvolsa Dolka. These are basically endboard pieces. You usually summon out the Dolka, but sometimes it makes more sense to summon the Lagia. It depends on what your opponent is playing, because this one is Spell Trap Negate, this one is a Monster Negate. So depending on the deck of your opponent, usually you use the Monster Negates or Dolka. And then here with Solda and Lars, it's pretty much the same. It also depends on what your opponent plays. Usually you go for the Lars because you can negate 2 cards that your opponent has on their field, so they have to be up on the field. But still, like, it doesn't matter, you can negate spell, traps, or monster effects, so this is basically 2 Omni Negates on the field, which is really strong. And then we play Dugaris, which is a card that either helps you OTK or to draw if you bricked. And then Baguska is to stall the game also when you bricked, or in some situations it comes in handy, that's why we're playing it. So I actually forgot, another Xyz monster that we're playing is the Galaxy Slayer Typhon. I mean, this card is insane, not much to add to this. You can summon this easily out after your opponent has summoned a bunch in his turn with just 1 random monster that you have. So therefore, for going second, this is insane. Or even for the following turn, turn 3, very good card. Then we are playing 1 copy of Cheng Ying. Cheng Ying, because we can go into Synchro 10 pretty easily with our Xenometeorosaurus, since it's a level 6 tuner. And it's a worm, which is also important because the Xenometeorus locks us into worm, the dinosaur, and reptile, I believe. So even if Baron de Fleur would still be legal, we couldn't go into it because we're locked into one of these types here. That's why Cheng Ying was always the choice in the dinosaur deck as your Synchro 10. Then we have the Transcendosaurus card that uses a normal monster as a fusion material. You can usually use your Ground Xeno, banish it from your graveyard to fusion summon into this one. Also a really strong card, has a lot of ATK and is kinda protected, or I mean it comes back when you have a normal monster in your graveyard. And then we have the Hornsaurus, which is the fusion monster that uses Kaitoptera, and sometimes it comes in handy because you can add the field spell to your hand when you summon this out. It's not part of the combo, but like I said, sometimes you go into it and then it's always a good thing when you do that. Last but not least, our Link monsters. So all of these Link monsters are basically here to help us to get a non-dinosaur monster into the graveyard, so we can use the effect of Double Evolution Pill and summon out the ultimate conductor Tyranno. So Relinquished Anima uses a level 1 monster. I mean, we have a few of them, especially the one that searches us the Double Evolution Pill, so this can be used in part of the combo. Then Secure Gardener takes 1 Cyberse Link monster, which would be the Almirage. So if we have a normal summoned monster, we can go into Almirage and then go into Secure Gardener. Then we have the Almirage in the grave and can banish it with the double evolution pill. Then we have the Pentest bug and the Reproducus, or however you pronounce that, I have no idea. But anyway, Pentest bug is basically nice because it gives you penetration damage. So when your ultimate conductor, for example, is summoned into the zone this card points to, then your ultimate conductor Tyranno does piercing battle damage. And since you can flip all your opponent's monsters face down with the effect of ultimate conductor, and you can attack every monster your opponent controls once with the ultimate conductor, usually Pentest plus ultimate conductor as the OTK. So that's why we're playing that one. And then this one here is really good because it just takes 2 random monsters. It doesn't matter what kind of monsters, and it's a dinosaur. So even after you're locked with the Xenometeorus, you can still go into this one. So basically, when you have, for example, the relinquished anima on the field, then you use this one and another monster to go into this one. Then you have the anima in the graveyard and can banish it with the double evolution pill. But like I said, we will make a combo video to this deck and then you guys will see what I'm talking about. That's it for the extra deck, guys. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. Like I said, we will also upload a combo video for that one because it's definitely needed, and there's also been some changes to the dinosaur combos compared to a year ago. So subscribe to the channel to not miss the combo video because that's gonna be an important one. Peace out.